Welcome to Behind the Brief podcast, where we go beyond the buzzwords and dive deep into the marketing strategies that actually work. I'm your host, Shruti Verma, and today's guest is not just a killer product marketer. She's taken that skill set and built an entire business out of it. From working with enterprise brands to scaling startups, Shirin now works as a go-to GTM expert for clients looking to level up their positioning, sales enablement, and messaging. So in this episode, we are digging into two themes: what's it like to build a business as a product marketer and what it takes to run a business using your PMM brain. Welcome to my show, Shirin.
Thank you so much for having me, and I'm excited to be here and chat with you.
Absolutely. Let's get right into. So I really want to dig deeper onto your experiences as a PMM and as a business owner. So you have been a PMM and you have seen it evolve firsthand. What's one way this role has seriously changed over the last few years?
Yeah, it's a great question. Well, I have about 12 years now of product marketing experience. So I started in-house, of course, before I did my consulting. And one thing that I've really seen is that product marketing in the past has tended to be much more reactive and execution focused, whether that's creating sales enablement, creating content, running a launch, things like that. All of those are still very valuable, of course. However, the role has become much more strategic now, and we are becoming more to the table, to that leadership table in company decision making. So I'm so happy to see that we are, our role is evolving and we are shaping now go-to-market strategy more. I've seen product marketers more often now be the first hire on a marketing team. Sometimes they report into product, but more often I see them reporting up to the marketing team. And instead of just working on a feature launch, we're working on repositioning a company. So there's much more strategy involved, and the execution is still there too. But I've really seen it gain a lot more attention in this way.
Yeah, I love that you come from such rich background in product marketing, and not many people take that path. At least I have not seen many people being successful, really out and about their skills in product marketing and building a huge business out of it. So I'm really in awe that we are talking about all of this and you're sharing your experiences on my show.
Well, thank you. No, that's very sweet of you. And I think there's been a big trend, as you know now, with more and more kind of fractionals and consultants in the last even couple years. Like I started 6 years ago, but even the last couple years has been like, whoa, like so many.
Yeah.
So you're right that used to be more rare, but now it's definitely shifted a little bit.
Many fractional PMMs are coming out and like parallelly working out on a full-blown business in product marketing. So definitely a competitive field right now.
Yes, it is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Talking about competition, I know that product marketing is anyway very competitive, and AI adds a lot of, fire into that entire building, I would say. So it's definitely shaking up every role, including PMM. So how do you think it has changed the way you work, and what are the use cases that made you say, okay, this is something, actually useful. Let's see how that rolls out to be.
Yes, this is something that's very, very top of mind for me right now in my work. Is I'm really taking a close look on AI and how it's impacting our current role, how it's evolving the role, and then what tools we can use as a result of that to enhance our role. One thing that I want to make sure I say about AI that I think is really important is that AI, as you know, and then everyone knows, is machine learning models. So it's trained on past data. So why I say that is it's really good at pattern recognition and extrapolating data and all of that. But there's a lot that it also lacks. Like it lacks intuition, it lacks intent, it lacks the ability to build trust across an organization, cross-functional alignment, things like that. But there's definitely a lot that it can do to support the execution side of our work and even some of the strategy side. So to your question, I just wanted to say that it's, I think, important for us to keep in mind that AI is trained on past data. It's not really, it can, I think, make some predictions for the future, but it's not really, able to do that, I would say, in a very confident way, or maybe not yet. So as it relates to product marketing, there are a few different ways I'm currently using it. So message testing is a really big one. So whether you can build a custom GPT for your client, for example, and upload the positioning, all the research, and basically have it learn about that company, that persona, everything you can feed it, and then be able to do message testing against it. That's one use case. I think it's really great for research, again, because it's trained on past data. So anything from competitive and market research, even uploading customer recordings and sales calls and synthesizing all of that data for you. Super great at that. And then I've also used it to kickstart, related to the research, but kickstart a client project, because in every client project that I have about 2 weeks of discovery and intake phase. That's what I call it, discovery and intake. So that's everything from meeting with internal stakeholders, but also all the market, competitive, customer research, all of that is also done in that phase. And all the various AI tools have been super helpful for moving much quicker and a lot more efficiently in that phase. But yeah, like I said, there's a few things it also doesn't do. It doesn't navigate people. I mean, it can't. It's literally a tool. It's a software.
Right.
And so navigating when you have your positioning done, how are we going to get buy-in and cross-functional alignment on that positioning? So things like that, it lacks. I'm glad it lacks, because we would all be out of jobs if it didn't lack that. So I don't mind that it lacks that. But there's a lot of ways it can help us, like I said.
All right. I think I've said this so many times in my past episodes as well, that it is the best assistant we can have.
Yes.
Right now, but only if we keep that boundary and
Yes.
not use it to just guide our life in general or our professional life, build it to actually talk about the business strategy as well. I think you can ask for some frameworks that are already there, some things that are already there, done and dusted. But I think something from scratch is something that you should be driving rather than just deriving it from any AI tool.
Yeah.
Like, that's just my principle that I'm holding to right now. And
Yes. I agree. Let's say you're kicking off a more strategic project at a company.
Right.
Before you jump in and ask AI this question and that question and whatever, you need to come together with key stakeholders and figure out what's the framework you're working off of now. What is the problem we're looking to solve? What are our goals? And I think I'm also a little concerned, I mean, to your point, that if we get too used to just asking questions of AI and just throwing it in there, like I've even caught myself sometimes, I'll just ask like the randomest questions and I'm like, okay, I didn't even need to ask AI this question, right? So why did I even do that? So I like the way you described it is like, how can we be more mindful and very thoughtful about our approach with using these tools? And I think we're all learning. It's a phase of so much information, and I'm overwhelmed as well. There's just so much happening every day. There's like a new tool, so it can be overwhelming.
Absolutely. The funniest thing is, like, I can show anybody my WhatsApp history now, but not my Chat GPT history, because there are so weird things that I am asking it to help me with, or just
That's funny.
tell
It's
me
like
what
too
do you think.
personal. Yeah, it became too personal now.
Yeah, and it knows the different side of my personality, so it's just funny.
Oh yeah, I've seen people say like ChatGPT knows me better than my best friends or something. I'm like, oh my God, yeah.
It's funny and scary.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay, I have a follow-up question on that. Definitely, we are talking about what is and is not replaceable, about human versus AI and all of that saga. But what do you think is one thing that's still not replaceable, especially in PMM, that a human PMM can do and not AI right now?
Yeah, I think the biggest is, in product marketing, we work so cross-functionally with so many people, and I don't see AI ever being able to replicate how you navigate those internal dynamics of people. And not only is it just the number of people we work with, but they're across so many different teams. And so an engineer has a very different personality than a salesperson, than a product person. And I believe only a human can really understand, navigate, get to know, and build these relationships. I mean, you literally can't. An AI tool can't do that. It can, yes, take the data from those interviews that we do in meetings and synthesize it for you and summarize it for you and pull out nuggets and yes. But there's something about a PMM's role as far as the relationships we build that my entire career, the success that I have had, and everyone has failures too, but the success that I have had has been because of the people and the relationships.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's no tool that's going to be able to do that. I mean, maybe one day when we have robots wandering around, but even then, it's not going to be the same.
I hope so. Yeah. And I love the fact that you mentioned about the human touch and the human relationships that we tend to build. Some things that only we can be able to just differentiate. And it's just sad that we are comparing so many things with AI right now, like the
Yeah.
capability a human brain has or
Yes.
exists. So it's just weird. It's exciting, definitely. It's weird to
Yeah.
see things,
Yeah,
change.
yeah. It's exciting and weird. I think you described it really, really well. Another thing that I think it can't do in a PMM's role is this comes back to like nuances and messaging and intent is it can do a lot of great synthesizing, test messaging for you. But ultimately, when a company needs to decide, are we going to lean into this differentiator or that differentiator? What is our hook going to be in our narrative? Like AI isn't, I mean, they could maybe suggest, like, well, we suggest you go through this one because in the competitive landscape, this is a stronger differentiator, but you might have three core differentiators and you need to land on one that you really lean into with your messaging and your story. I don't see AI being able to do that. That's like our emotional brain that actually has to think about that, process that, meet with other stakeholders about that, everything that we've been talking about.
Absolutely. I hope it remains the same.
Yes, I hope it continues that way. Yes.
That would be the biggest differentiator whenever it gets more noisy out there.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Yeah.
So I want to dig a bit deeper into your experience as a PMM and definitely in the coming conversations ask you more questions around your business side
Sure.
things.
Yeah.
So I want to ask you, what would be one thing that you would have wanted the younger self that would have helped you a 2-year detour into a burnout or an analysis paralysis mode?
Yes.
How did you manage that, and what would you advise
Yes.
to us?
My advice honestly would be to prioritize your work as much as possible. And whether you're in-house or you're consulting, make sure you are asking really clear questions around the priorities and goals of the work you're doing, because it's so easy in our role to get easily into almost everything. And we have to be able to manage our workload. Especially even as a junior level person, you want to be able to leave some room for being more strategic. And I think when I was more junior level, although I learned so much by being in an execution role, it was so much execution that I wish I paused a little bit more and asked some more thoughtful questions. And why are we doing what we're doing? And just be very vocal about that. I think that's really important in your earlier years as a PMM, but that only comes if you're able to get your priorities really clear and leave room for that. I don't know if that resonates with you, but that's the advice I wish I got when I was younger.
Right. I think it matters more when you are starting out because that's when you need the most guidance or, you learn from your mistakes. I think if you make some major mistakes early on, you learn a lot for the next coming years.
Yep.
Next 10 years are pretty sorted because you learn the major part of building a business or starting a new role and you get started. Like you are not afraid to make more mistakes because you'll learn from them.
Yes.
So I think that's the key to actually navigate anything whenever you're starting something new.
That's like anything new. Yeah. I think what you said is really great, that it's not even just a PMM. That applies to anything you start.
Absolutely.
Getting comfortable with failure or mistakes even. Failure is a very
Exactly.
strong word, but yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So I'm really excited to now dig into the business
Sure.
owner perspective, and I would love to learn from your business owner lens. And definitely people think that starting a business as a PMM is full of freedom and flowcharts, but there's also taxes. There's so many things that you maybe did not even predict while starting out.
Yes.
I know in entrepreneurship is a second nature to PMMs, I guess, because I'm doing that, you are doing that, so
Yeah.
many other talented PMMs are doing that.
Yeah.
So what do you think made your founder journey smoother? Or did it just mean you overthought everything before sending your first invoice?
Well, I always do some overthinking, so I think that's just normal, and maybe that's also a product marketing thing. I don't know. But I think that there are a lot of overlap between entrepreneurship and being in product marketing, specifically in our soft skills. So organizational skills, project management, relationship building, the ability to take complex information, complex processes, and how you can just try to break it down into something that's more simple. I would say that has greatly benefited me, is the word? Yeah. That benefited me as a business owner to have those skills. And I actually never really realized that. Like when I started my own business, I wasn't like, oh, I have these product marketing skills that are really going to help me in XYZ. But I came to realize that actually, when you ask this question, actually, it really makes me realize that we do have this entrepreneurship theme. And I also think PMM work has to be creative by nature, a lot of it. And being a business owner also similarly has a creative aspect to it. So yeah, I think those are the commonalities I would see between like a PMM and someone who's an entrepreneur.
I definitely relate to that a lot, and I feel it just comes very smoothly whenever you are either starting in a PMM role or as a business owner. So I think the cross functionality of the role or just how you communicate with all the team members are some of the skills that really help you into your own business launch as well.
Yeah, we need relationships. I mean, my business wouldn't be running without a lot of the relationships that I have. 100%, I think. Yeah, there's a lot more overlap than I even thought, I would say.
I'm glad I asked you this question.
Yeah, it was thought-provoking.
Okay, so moving on to, I love this quote, solo but not silent. And I see your work on LinkedIn, the things that you share on your posts, and what's something that you wish someone had told you before going solo. Could be your mindset, some client red flags, or, don't be so quick in either saying no or yes. What has been your approach in that?
Yeah, so I would say that what would be something I wish somebody told me is you will get more comfortable with the uncomfortable, because there are periods in having your own business that actually get close to burnout, which is very uncomfortable. And people think you have all the flexibility and everything, but it really depends on your workload. And you're not only doing PMM work, but I'm also running a business. So there's a lot there. So you have slower periods. There's periods that you have a slower number of clients. There's periods you have a very high peak number of clients. So I think the theme that I think about when I hear that is like, can you get comfortable? The theme of the advice I would love to hear is you will get comfortable with the uncomfortable. As time goes on, you start to feel that more. And I wish, if somebody told, but that's also something I think you have to experience, not necessarily because somebody told you that it's going to like, all be fine. But it's something you go through. Like you said, with the failures, you get more comfortable as you make mistakes. It's the same thing. The more like discomfort you have, the more comfortable you get with it.
And there's a really good, I don't know what video I saw, but there was a woman who actually said that I have 20 years of experience and that's why I'm charging this much. It's not the pay that's I'm charging, it's the years of experience that I have, the mistakes that I've learned from. So I think that kind of mindset is killer.
Oh, I love that. Almost like the experience I have is because of the mistakes that I've made, almost.
Exactly.
Yeah. Super
and
interesting.
And it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
So I want to ask a question related to that, because mistakes we pay for is so that others don't have to. That's one thing that I really love. So what's one business mistake that costs you time, energy, or even money?
Yeah, well, I would say it cost me money in that I think pricing has always been more of a challenging part of my business, of knowing what to price. And back to your point about, I love that thinking, like I'm charging for my value because of the years of experience that I have is really amazing. But what I would say is, especially when I was just starting, I was very hesitant sometimes to price higher. Is a client going to say no right away? Am I going to lose that business? These are very normal fears. And what I've learned over time is you need to, what you price is also how the client is going to perceive you. So I'm not saying you go put $100,000 on a 3-month project, or maybe some people do that. Point is, price it really what you feel you are going to provide and bring to the table. So I do think that costs me some money, because I think I underpriced, especially the first couple years. And now, still, by the way, even when I price now, sometimes I'm still like, oh, should I have gone higher? You always think that. But I say my advice would be push on that and just push yourself and go a little bit higher than what you think. And you'd be surprised, what the reaction is that you get. So yeah, I would say that would be my biggest kind of mistake that I could think of, was not being a little bit bolder with my pricing.
Yeah, I do have a similar experience. I completely lost that client and it did not make me feel bad. I was actually happy, because no matter what, if you do not appreciate the value that I bring, the ideas that I have, the experience that I bring, it's better not go ahead with that deal if you cannot pay me that much. I come with that pricing, and definitely we can negotiate a bit, but it's just gonna
It's not going to be a good fit.
exactly.
I 100% believe in that last
Yeah.
point you just made, because if you're not fully feeling valued, you're also not going to bring your best self into that
Exactly.
project.
Right.
So I'm glad you have a very good outlook, and I'm glad that you saw it in that way. I'm sure it was still hard. It's still hard to hear a no from a client. It's always still hard. But after you can process it a bit and say, you know what, I'm proud of what I did. This is this is what I feel I'm worth and what my work is worth. And good for you that you saw that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's really important, especially for us, that we need to be able to take our stand. Like it's not about pricing all the time. It's not about what you bring to the table. It's about standing up for yourself, because I don't think anybody is going to come up and stand for you and, make things better for you. It's just you.
Yeah. Especially when you run your own business, this is the big thing. You don't have a team behind you always. You don't even have if you have a good manager in a company, they stand behind you and they help. But sometimes we don't have that. We are literally our own manager.
Absolutely.
So you have to advocate for yourself.
Yeah. And I cannot focus on this enough. Like, definitely in early years of going solo, not like an entrepreneur like you, but I am trying to just build personal brand, be able to come and say that I do have some differentiators, let's start. So it's definitely a mindset shift that needs to be there.
It is a mindset, and it takes time.
Yeah.
It takes time for that shift to happen.
Absolutely. It just never happens overnight, and it takes years to build your brand. It takes years to see it actually mint money for you and see the potential it has. So definitely.
Yes, absolutely. You have a good mindset, which is great.
Thank you so much. And definitely I really have enjoyed talking to you, Shirin, today, and you have been sharing your business experience, your PMM experience, and I love the fact that we came up with a theme that talks and merges both of these. And that's a wrap on today's episode of Behind the Brief. Big thanks to Shirin for getting real about what it means to build and run a business with a product marketer's mindset. So whether you're climbing the PMM ladder or testing the waters of solo consulting, I hope this chat gave you something to think about. And also, Shirin, one last plug I really want to ask you is, where can people find you?
Yeah, the best place would be LinkedIn. If you just look up me on LinkedIn, I also have my website. I am ShirinShahin.com.
Perfect. So if you like this episode, drop a review, share it with a fellow PMM, or just DM me your favorite takeaway. Until next time, stay curious, stay clear, and keep building what matters.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Shirin.